Okay women, if you're looking for inspo to start out your own business, you're at the right place. Because today you and me together are going to study some women-led brands as case studies. So grab your coffee and maybe your favorite food and let's go. First of all, to begin with, as a founder myself, let me just start by emphasizing on the fact that how difficult it is to be a founder, especially a female founder in a country like India, where there are so many gender biases. People essentially do not tend to take you seriously as a female founder, and the fact that there are so many social and family norms pertaining to women. In spite of that, a lot of women are doing some amazing job in this industry and building some amazing businesses. And so this Women's Day, I decided to discuss a few of these brands with you, study them together and learn from them so that you and me together can gather some inspiration to build our own businesses. To begin with, this is essentially a list of brands that we'll be discussing and studying in this video. We will be analyzing these brands and we'll try to answer these 4 important questions. What problem are they exactly solving? What gap did they notice in the market? Who is their exact audience? And what can we learn as consumers or business students from these brands? Now, talking about our number 1 brand, Nish Hair, which was initially founded in 2017 by Parul Gulati. This brand was also featured on Shark Tank, but I have been an avid viewer of Nish Hair ka social media ever since they started. Now, Nish Hair was essentially a hair extensions brand. They also do wigs, and now they've started doing more of hair styling products, hairstyling tools, etc. What I personally believe is that Parul wants to create like a one-stop solution for all your hair needs in one website or in one store. Now, talking about their backstory, as Parul also mentioned on her Shark Tank pitch, that she personally struggled as an actress in finding the right quality hair extensions, that too in the right prices. The ones of good quality had enormous prices, and the ones she could afford had really bad quality, and this is where she found a gap in the market. What initially started as just solving hair extension problems eventually led to her making more wigs and hair fall and bald patch solutions like her hair toppers, which they now sell for problems like hair thinning and hair fall. My personal favorite thing about this brand is their marketing and the way they teach the consumer literally everything from scratch, because hair extensions is still a relatively new product in the market. People do not know how to clip them, how to wash them, and so Parul has literally created intricate videos on their social media targeting these people who have bought her product or who are willing to buy, to make them understand how do you maintain these extensions, how do you wash them, if a clip is broken, how do you actually sew them. And I think it's so amazing and shows the sheer passion of a founder towards their own brand. And now, before we work on our learning grid, let's also talk numbers. Since Nish Hair is a private company, I do not have the exact numbers, but the last numbers that I have is the FY22 revenue, which was approximately 6.7 crores as revealed on Shark Tank, with an overall valuation of about 50 crores, which is insane within 5 years of starting your brand. Now let's come to our learning grid. What problem are they exactly solving? The number 1 problem they began with was finding the right hair extensions, but what we have to learn here is that Parul did not stop here, and she found another gap in the market, which was actually addressing hair fall and hair thinning. After doing a deep dive in their social media, you will also understand that they target people with medical conditions of hair thinning and hair fall also very seamlessly. And last but not the least is becoming the one-stop shop for hair, because I don't think any such brand exists in India till date which I can call a one-stop shop for hair. Now, coming to what gap did they notice, which we've already discussed, primarily getting good quality extensions at an affordable price. Who is their exact audience is a question even I don't have the right answer to, because every year they keep expanding their audience. Initially, I thought only women are their audience, and also women of the ages of maybe 35 plus who are actually facing hair fall and hair thinning and want to wear hair extensions, or maybe actresses or media people who really like to wear hair extensions. But Parul has really made hair extensions a movement. Now every other person will be wearing hair extensions, and it is amazing to see that. So I think everyone from a Gen Z to a millennial is actually their target audience. And not just that, they're also now targeting men with products like a hairline powder to cover your hairline and even male wigs. Personally, I think their target audience is quite huge, but if I have to put it into perspective, males and females between the ages of 20 to let's say 50, where of course females are greater than males. And last but not the least, what can we learn as a consumer or a business student from this brand? Number one and the most important is that you have to be present where your consumer is. Nish Hair of course is an online first brand, but they use social media amazingly. From their YouTube to their Instagram and even their website is so interactive and so fun. And Nish Hair ke page pe you will always see one content piece coming literally every day. I love that consistency. And second of all, I feel being really passionate about your product, which is exactly why and how you'll be able to market it and sell it and talk about it over and over again without getting tired, without it getting monotonous, and only then will you be able to drive real sales. Okay, now this here is our Nish Hair learning grid. Now let's move on to our brand number 2, which is Underneat by Kusha Kapila. Ever since this brand has started, it has constantly been into a lot of gossip and a lot of conversations. So Underneat was originally founded by Kusha Kapila and Vimarsh Razdan in April 2025. So it's not even been an year of this brand being founded, but when we talk about numbers, the brand has reportedly crossed 150 crores in ARR within 8 months of launch. Also, Underneat has recently raised $6 million, which is crazy. Now a little bit about Underneat. It is basically a shapewear and undergarment brand only for women. According to available information, the founders spent a month collecting information from close to 12,000 women to design shapewear that genuinely fits them. Now, as Kusha Kapila, the creator herself, has talked about her weight gain, weight loss, and the stories of her consciousness about her body and how looking good gives women a sense of confidence and being themselves. Their primary proposition is that unlike other uncomfortable shapewears in the market, they're providing more comfortable, breathable shapewears along with undergarments which are well suited for Indian body type. What I personally love about the brand is how Kusha Kapila actually launched it on social media, where she started doing this series called What Are You Wearing Under, and she was not even promoting the brand as such, but she created an IP series of her own which gets millions of views on social media because young girls and women really want to know how can I wear a sleeveless top or a backless dress or a bodycon dress, and what is the right undergarment to wear inside these dresses so that the entire look looks very put together and snatched and just gives. I have personally tried their shapewear, their nipple pasties along with their bras, and I can personally vouch for the fact that they're really working on their R&D and designing, which of course clearly shows in their numbers. Apart from that, of course, their social media marketing is amazing, all thanks to the founder herself. They've also done a very recent campaign where Kusha Kapila is literally dressed up like a superwoman who's telling people what to wear under what. I feel that is so crazy and so insane. Now coming to our learning grid for Underneat. What problem are they exactly solving? They are solving to provide the best shapewear and undergarments for women suited to Indian sizes and Indian body type, and I think it is so clear and so crisp. What gap did they notice? The gap here is again very similar to the gap that we saw in Nish Hair, which is about giving good quality products and that really address women's problems. What I personally feel about women's undergarments and shapewear brands, that not a lot of R&D is actually done in these products, and whatever is working and has been working for years and years, people just keep mass producing that. But a few brands like these are really innovating. For example, this shapewear from Underneat literally has a pee hole so that you can pee in peace, and I think that is so thoughtful, and I don't understand why other brands have never really thought about it, and why even we as consumers never ask these brands to do something. I mean, it is very simple of a change, but I think to think about these intricacies and actually think about what the customer is going through is the real learning from this brand. Who is their exact audience? I feel women. Primary audience is from the ages of 18, let's say, to 35-40. What can we learn as a consumer or a business student is A, get into the details and nitty-gritties. B, customer feedback is extremely important. And C, I feel, is really investing in your R&D and coming up with products that actually stand out from the market so that the product speaks for itself. Now this is our Underneat grid. Okay, now the next brand we're going to talk about is very close to my heart and one of my favorites, Cuffs and Lashes. Not because it is a friend's brand, but because I have been following this brand and the products even before I actually knew Nidhi or I met her, and I feel this is such an underrated brand run by a woman, Nidhi Katiyar, and her brother Ankit Katiyar, almost since 2016, which is insane. So Nidhi aka Nidhi Katiyar is originally a beauty creator and she started her own makeup brand in 2016, where currently they do everything from concealers to makeup brushes to tints, lipsticks, and even skincare products like lip balms. Now the number one thing I love about this brand is, since it's founded by a beauty creator, she actually knows what she's selling and she actually knows the exact needs of the end consumer. And why I feel that this brand is extremely underrated, because at the prices that they're selling such high quality products is nothing that I have seen happening in India. The kind of product innovations they keep coming up with, like the lip and cheek mud that they recently launched, and even their cover pots were one of the first such products in India. The major proposition that they come up with and what Nidhi also really stands for on her channel in most of her videos is that you don't have to pay enormous and insane amounts of prices for just buying makeup. You can get high quality, amazing makeup at affordable prices, because often when we go and buy stuff, our perception is कि अगर कुछ सस्ता है तो definitely कुछ गोलमाल होगा and the quality will not be up to the mark. But it is not so, and she's proving all of us wrong by literally bringing out products. Her lip balm, with personal experience I can say, gives a really strong competition to the viral Laneige lip balm, which sells at enormous prices. But this lip balm is listed at $299, but with discounts आपको ये और भी सस्ता मिल जाएगा. So I think kudos to them. Now since this is a private company, I don't have the exact revenue figures, but what I do know is that till now it is a completely bootstrapped company, and by her videos Nidhi often tells that the brand is sort of struggling and they are also sort of struggling to find the right product market fit. Even then, what I love about the brand is they do not get disheartened and they keep coming up with new and new product innovations for the Indian market, products that are new to the market, that don't just cater to trends but actually cater to people. Now coming to what problem are they exactly solving? According to me, the primary problem is getting good quality makeup at affordable prices. What gap did they notice? I think back in 2016 when they were launching, there were very few creator-led beauty brands. So I think this one was one of its kind. And secondly, no other Indian beauty brand was actually playing in this price point back then. Right now we do have makeup brands like Swiss Beauty, Mars, etc. But back then I think when they started, this was the biggest gap they must have noticed. So affordable and innovative products. And secondly, whatever Indian brands are usually doing in terms of makeup is actually a copy of what is happening outside. So bringing up your own innovations is also something that I feel they must have seen as a gap. Now, who is their target audience? As Nidhi tells us on her videos, it is primarily women, of course, and I feel a major chunk of their audience must be students as well, since students is that price sensitive market. So essentially females who are looking to buy affordable, high quality makeup. And now last but not the least, what can we learn as a consumer / business student from this brand? Now of course this brand is not the biggest makeup brand in India. Now what can we learn here as consumers, business students and even creators is how do we convert our viewing audiences into paying customers of our brand? How do we actually target, sell and position our product, and how do we actually take it to the audiences? How do we educate our audiences on how to use a particular product, and also keeping a very deep insight of your own industry and your products. If you ever see any of Nidhi's videos, you will know how deep in knowledge she is about makeup, about the use cases of different products, about what brush to use when, अगर कोई product खराब हो गया है तो उस खराब product को आप अपने लिए अच्छा product कैसे बना सकते हो, etc. etc. And I think this kind of education to your viewers / consumers / paying customers really pays off. Now this is our learning sheet from Cuffs and Lashes. The next brand that we are going to discuss about is Impulse Coffees, and you can see this happiness on my face because this too is a creator founded brand, and I have a personal bias for these brands because I just love them. So Impulse Coffees was founded by Sarosh, who too is a YouTube creator. The brand was founded just in 2021, and this is actually India's first creator-led coffee business. Now, as much as I've heard Sarah talking about the product, yes, she's very passionate about her own coffee and she loves coffee, but B, the gap that she saw in the market was that instant coffee actually lacked lifestyle branding and taste innovation. So there are different kinds of coffees, and I won't get into that in this particular video, and I think Sarah is the right person to talk about it. But instant coffee is what we actually use at our homes normally. Like this one is instant coffee from Impulse, or you might be using Nescafe or Brew and similar examples. Now what Impulse Coffees actually did with this instant coffee is actually flavorize it. So this flavor in my hand is nut cut hazelnut. Then they have a lot of flavors like kacha aam, vanilla, strawberry, etc, etc. And now they've also went into the iced tea category. They also do products like this frother, which I believe is amazing. And I love how they are also trying to become this one-stop shop for your coffee. Another thing I absolutely love about Sarah, which is also similar to Parul Gulati, is how she lives and breathes coffee on social media. If you see Sarah in any of her videos, 8 on 10 videos mein you'll see her with her coffee, which creates this amazing recall in a consumer's or a viewer's brain that you know that Impulse Coffees is her brand, and I feel it's amazing to market your product. I also love how she's always on the top of her content game with Impulse, how she's trying out different coffee recipes and she's experimenting with her content on social media with coffee. By the way, I too am drinking Impulse Coffees. When I talk about numbers here too, the only thing I know is that the company is bootstrapped. I do not have any exact numbers, so I cannot comment on that. But now let us move on to our learning sheet from Impulse Coffees. When we talk about what problem they are solving, number one is adding flavors to your everyday coffee. Number two is, again, I believe, becoming a one-stop shop for coffee, because as much as we have recalls for bigger brands like Nescafe and Brew, they're only doing coffee. But when I look at Impulse, I genuinely look at it as a brand that has everything that my coffee cravings need, be it a frother, be it mugs for drinking my coffee, be it different flavors of coffee, and even iced tea. I love how they do these amazing gift boxes also. They even do hot chocolate, abhi mujhe yaad aaya. So I think adding this whole lifestyle perspective, and they actually have done apparel too, which is also coffee related. So making coffee an entire lifestyle and creating a community of coffee drinkers is something that we actually need to learn from this brand. The gap that they noticed is, again, I feel that coffee can be actually built into a lifestyle product, which no other brand was doing. Their exact audience, I will not have like an age range because everyone drinks coffee, but I think the major audience that they are targeting is actually hustlers and people who do a lot during their day and they just need their morning or evening cup of coffee to keep them going, and I feel that positioning is amazing. And what can we learn as a consumer or a business student is, as I said, blending your product beautifully into the lifestyle of your consumer and actually building a community of people, not just a brand. And this is our cheat sheet for Impulse Coffees. Now last but not the least brand that we are going to discuss in this video is Faye Beauty. Now again, this brand too was discussed on Shark Tank and they also got funding, about which we'll talk later. But Faye actually stands for Free and Equal Beauty, which I think is amazing, and love how they've named the brand. The brand was originally founded in 2019 by Karishma Kewalramani. The number one thing that the brand really stands for and they always speak about is inclusivity. And even when you see they've launched this face card serum foundation plus brush bundle, I am amazed to see that they've straight up launched 30 shades, which is amazing. And this is like one of the highest ranges that I have seen, especially for a brand who has like very recently launched this product. Going with such a big shade range gets difficult for like newer brands or like brands जिन्होंने just product launch किया है, because you don't know which shade will sell the most, and mid ranges everywhere sell the most, be it clothing, be it makeup, etc. and इसलिए extremely fair and extremely darker shades are usually left in the inventory. वो उतने sell नहीं हो पाते, which is often a complaint that a lot of customers have with these brands. But I love this about Faye, that when they say they are inclusive, they actually prove it in their product line, positioning and everything. So here when we talk about the problem that they're trying to solve, it is actually giving the Indian consumer makeup products slash beauty products that actually fit the Indian climate, the humidity, the weather conditions, along with being extremely inclusive and launching shades for every person. And when I say shades, please don't confuse it just for skin tints or foundations or concealers, because shades also do matter when we talk about lipsticks or say blushes, because a lipstick shade might look something else on me and something else on somebody with a different skin tone. So it is very, very important that you launch shades that cater to all the skin tones for people to actually buy from you and for you as a brand to call yourself inclusive. The latest number data that I have about Faye is that they raised approximately 17 crores in November 2025, which means that they must be doing really amazing that they're able to raise such funds. One more thing that you'll notice about all of the brands that I've talked about in this particular video is that all of these women founders are very, very vocal about their brand, and they keep speaking to you, talking to you, just like how Karishma now does this series about building Faye and how she failed at certain things and how she changed certain things and then she launched a product, or why she failed at a certain thing, etc., etc., or how did they come up with a particular product. This actually engages audiences really well. It builds your trust among your consumers that yes, whomsoever is sitting behind the brand is also a human being like me and is also thinking about human beings like me. So I feel it is of utmost importance for founders these days to have a personal brand so that they can actually market and sell their own product or their brand well. A few more claims that Faye does is that they're vegan and also cruelty free when it comes to beauty products and products that they sell. Now let's come on to our learning cheat sheet and let's see what problem is actually Faye solving. Number one problem is of course inclusivity, basically making makeup and products available for every person. Now second question is what gap did they notice? Again, very similar to our previous answer, that not a lot of brands are catering to all the population. And the second big problem according to me is that the products that brands usually make are not really well suited for Indian weather, humidity and the kind of climate we have here. Who is their exact audience? I feel their audience is slightly young, so like probably women between the ages of 20 to 35 is their major chunk of audience. And what can we learn as a consumer or a business student from Faye is I feel building a strong identity as a founder, and secondly what I feel is taking that little extra effort in creating your formulations from scratch and not going ahead with those same formulations that are available in the market, क्योंकि जो पुराना कंज्यूमर था उसे नहीं पता था कि प्रोडक्ट्स एक्चुअली बनते कैसे हैं या होता क्या है. But today's consumer is aware. We today know that 90% makeup products are made in the same factories, same manufacturing, only packaging is what is different and 10% of their formulation is different. So when you take this extra effort of formulating your products from scratch, putting money into R&D and becoming inclusive, taking out more shades, this is what today's Gen Z buys on. This is what they make their choices on, and I feel Faye is doing that amazingly. This is our Faye Beauty cheat sheet. And now as I close this video, I just wanted to say one thing. What I noticed today while talking about and researching about these brands is that none of these started as perfect. They started with a problem, a lived experience and the sheer courage to solve it. If you're a girl watching this wanting to start something of your own, you don't need permission. You need clarity and the willingness to begin. So on this Women's Day, don't just support women. Be one of the women building something beautiful. Okay, bye. That was about this week's video. I will see you next Sunday, 11 AM.